Fanatics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theo so bold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
See, mic check 1 2. We on? We on? Let me do a quick sound check. Make sure my sound is okay. Making sure y'all can hear me. Making sure I'm not sounding Autobotish. All right, we're just gonna rock with it. You know, if y'all tune in and chime in, and if my audio's not up to par, let me know. But hey y'all, welcome to the 89th episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold. Welcome. So before we get things going, let me go ahead and get some housekeeping out the way. You know how I do. I like to always start off with my my little tongue twisties to make sure that the brain, the tongue are coordinated. So, you know, I get that easy, smooth flow of speech. So let me go ahead and pull this up right quick. But before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. So boom, I got my phone up. Gotta get my QuickTime's acting funny. Okay, close my QuickTime out. That's weird. Try again, because as they say, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. That's what you got to do. That's what we are doing. There we go. New movie recording. Boom. All right. So you guys should be able to see what I'm seeing any second. If OBS wants to act right. Looks like it's not trying to act right for me right now. Let me see something right quick. Hey, why is my OB? I hate when I have technical difficulties like this. Like this is, maybe it's, that's not it. Why is, oh, it would probably help if, no, my phone is plugged in. Okay, that's weird. Okay, let's give it one more time, one more try. There we go. If at first you don't succeed, and if you don't succeed again, just keep dusting yourself off and keep trying again. That's all you got to keep doing. So I got what I needed. So now we are here. So as you guys know, tongue twisties, let's knock them out right quick. So we're doing tongue twisties that start with the letter U. So you can read along with me, or you can listen to me struggle, or better yet, you can watch me struggle. All right, let me move this to the side. Well, no, you guys need to be able to see what you're reading. So yeah, you can either read along with me or listen to me mess up. So here we go. U, unique New York, unique New York, unique New York. US 10, I messed that one up. The US twin screw cruiser. The US twin screw cruiser. That's a doozy right there. The US 10 screw cruiser. I said 10. US twin screw cruiser. That's a hard one. An undertaking undertook to undertake an undertaking. Undertaking that the undertaker undertook was the hardest undertaking undertaker ever undertook to undertake. The undertaker undertook to undertake an undertaking. The undertaking that the undertaker undertook was the hardest undertaking the undertaker ever undertook to undertake. We're going to do it one more time, just for grins. An undertaker undertook to undertake an undertaking. The undertaking that the undertaker undertook was the hardest undertaking the undertaker ever undertook to undertake. Bam, look at that. Look at me. Next one. Underneath Uncle Umby's umbrella is Uncle Umby's ugly unicorn hat. Underneath Uncle Umby's umbrella is Uncle Umby's ugly unicorn hat. Underneath Uncle Umby's umbrella is Uncle Umby's ugly unicorn hat. Last one, urgent detergent. Urgent detergent. urgent detergent. So boom, we got those knocked out the way. See what else we got on deck. So we did that. Let me go ahead and get this Buffalo Bill knocked out the way. So as y'all know, I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, and today's episode is tied to number 89, Mr. Steve Tasker, aka the Taskmaster. Let me see if I can decide right quick. Side, boom. Today's episode is tied to number 89, Steve Tasker. So Steve Tasker is probably one of my, if not favorite, Buffalo Bills of all time. All right, so here's why, right? So Steve Tasker, as you guys know or may not know, made special teams relevant, right? He was a wide receiver. I think he went to Northwestern University, and they have a bunch of scandals going on right now at Northwestern University. But Steve Tasker was a receiver, and he played all special teams aspects. He played punt return, kick return, punt block, kickoff. So he did all those things, and he did all the special teams things, right? There's three phases to football, right? You got defense, offense, and special teams. And Steve Tasker went to the Pro Bowl. I don't know how many times, at least 3 or 4 times, I think. I could be wrong. But he was one of my favorite players because he was undersized like me, and he found a way to make little people relevant in the game. So when I was trying out for the football team back at Temple, I was trying to use special teams as my way to get onto the team. How should I put it? I remember I remember one time I thought I had a good shot at making the team because I had one good practice. Not even good. It was a great practice. Like I was stirring the pot. I remember it was the scrubs versus the starters. And when I say scrubs, I mean scrubs all around, right? Like you had the scrub coaching staff. Like you had the coaching staff that was trying to basically work their way up to be on the coaching staff. So it was me and the coaches that were it was me and the water boys and the grad assistants that were trying to make it onto the coaching staff or make the team. And then you had the starters with the starting coaches, and they were doing, I think we were doing, this was punt block. So was it punt? Yeah, it was punt block. So our coaches drew up some, what do you call them? Stunts, and a stunt is where, the front linemen just don't rush forward. They like do crisscrosses and they pick the other guys off so someone else can go free. But that's what they were doing for me. They were basically picking off people on the front line, and I would come out of nowhere. And plus me, I'm not that tall, I'm not that big. So you see me line up, and if I go behind somebody else, you don't even know where I'm going. So I remember I had like 3 blocks in practice. I had 3 blocks in punt practice, and I was hyped, man. Like you gotta think, these linemen I'm going up against or like diving in between, these dudes are like some of these dudes made the NFL. These dudes was like 6'6", 6'7", 300 pounds, 320, So I remember coach at the time, he had, I don't know what you call those big trolley things, but those big blue things that extend up and down that look over the whole field. So Coach Wallace was on top of, or he was on the little trolley thing at the top, and I kept blocking all these punts. This was like right before, God, this was probably, this wasn't during the season. Was it during the season? Man, I'm getting old, man. I'm having brain farts right now. But anyway, all I remember is I'm diving through the line, and as the ball's being snapped, I'm already back there, and I'm just knocking the ball off the kicker's foot. And I remember Coach Wallace came down off his little trolley thing that came down, his little elevator thing, and he was cussing up a storm. Why can't y'all block that little motherfucker? Why can't y'all block him? What's going on? I was like, hey, coach, maybe I didn't say this, but I was like, hey, coach, maybe I'm just as good. Maybe you need me to help you. How can I be of service? So anywho, I didn't make the team. I got cut, but it felt good getting back there and getting like three blocks in one practice. That was a big deal. And but anyways, back to Steve Tasker. I actually met Steve Tasker, right? And this is how I know like NFL is full of shit, because Steve Tasker, cause I used to collect football cards as a kid, and I remember Steve Tasker being listed at 5'9", 175 or 5'9", 185. Then I saw another card where it said he was listed at like 5'7", $180, $175. So that's like a little taller than me, but I remember one time I was in Buffalo and I was getting ready to go to a game. Yeah, I was in Buffalo and I was getting ready to go to a game in Buffalo. No, where was I at? No, I was in Buffalo, correction, and I was getting ready to fly back to Iowa. I lived in Iowa at the time, and we had to stop through Chicago O'Hare Airport. So I remember being in line to get on this plane, and I see this dude that looks like Steve Tasker, and I'm like, nah, that can't be Steve Tasker. He can't be flying coach with me. He can't be flying on my plane. Steve Tasker? I'm like, nah, not the Taskmaster. So I saw this dude that looked like Steve Tasker, and I was like, nah, this dude is too short to be Steve Tasker, because I'm like looking down on the dude. Like I'm looking down on him like, nah, this can't be no Steve Tasker. So then it just kept messing with my mind. And I finally went up to him. I said, and then here's the thing, like nobody else was like really, like no one else really knew who he was, or no one else really even came around to even say what's up or say, hey. I went up to him. I was like, hey, man, I don't mean you no harm, but are you Steve Tasker? He said, well, yes, I am. I was like, dude, I'm looking up. I'm like, hey, and it was cool. He was real cool, real nice, but anyways, that's my little tie-in with Steve Tasker. But yeah, that dude is not no damn 5'7". I can tell you that right now. Steve Tasker, if you listening to this, man, you about 5'4". Cause I was looking down on you when we were in Buffalo Niagara Airport. But anyways, enough of that. Today's episode is tied to number 89, Steve Tasker, and we are moving on. So what else we got? So I want to make a quick little apology, or not an apology, more of a critique, right? So I did a podcast last week, episode 88, on my tour, or my recant of the 6888 tour. And it was long, so thank y'all for those that tuned in. I appreciate it. But the one thing I will say is that I was saying and a lot. Like it was bad. It was I was like, damn. And the reason why I was doing that is because, for a couple of reasons. Number one was because I had a lot of material, a lot of pictures to get through. And then two, I had I'm doing it right now. Did it again. But this was like the first time that I did a podcast in like 2 or 3 weeks last week, because I was out of town. I was out the country for a while, for about 10, 12 days. So I didn't do a podcast for 2 weeks. So I was out of shape. So when you do these podcasts and you talk, it's all about being in shape. So I took 2 weeks off and came back and did a 2.5 hour podcast. So, it is what it is. But my voice was real monotone. It was just very like monotonous, very, I got the information out, but it wasn't the way I wanted it to be. But we're here to get better. This is what this podcast is about. If you go back to episode 1 of Trippin with Theobold, you'll see that I started off with some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So we're always improving. We're always enhancing. That's what we're doing. We're always moving forward. So moving forward with this, I said again. So moving forward with what I want to do with this 6888 info that I had is I had a comedian friend of mine give me a real good idea for what to do when it comes to doing war documentation or war, anything war related. So I think last week was the birth of another potential podcast. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on creating a spinoff of this podcast where I really dive into understanding what my grandmother did within the 6888. So I'm not going to do it every week. Right? Like I want to be able to take my time and focus on different countries, like one country at a time, maybe. Like I might focus on Scotland. I might focus on, excuse me, I might focus on Port Greenwich or Port Gorick. I might focus on just Glasgow, but I want to just have like really focused pieces where, I really ask certain questions and do my research. So moving forward, when I have the idea and I'm looking to maybe do maybe like one of these a month, maybe once every 6 weeks. But what I want to do is, or I could do something where it's like every 6th week and every 8th week for 8 weeks in a row. I don't know. It's going to be something weird. But what I want to do is I want to basically I want to pose a question the week before my podcast, or do it for the next podcast coming up. Not this one, but you get the point, right? So I want to pose a question for a podcast and then do some research and then come back and then just pour my findings out to you guys, and then you let me know, or you let me know what your thoughts are, and if you have any other information, you can let me know. And I'm going to keep it part of Trippin with Theobold, I'm going to ask all types of weird questions. Like I want to know what my grandma, like I have so many questions about what my grandma did. And I even have basic questions like how did they get the name 6888? Like what order? Like is there a 6887? Was there a 6889? Like how do those numbers get assigned, right? So I have those kind of questions. So that's what I'm going to do moving forward. And when I get to maybe about 10 to 15-ish episodes, then I might be able to rebrand it and then have something to where, like once every 6 weeks, I take a break from Tripping with Theobold, and then I go on to whatever this new one is, right? So that's kind of like that's my idea, that's my thought process moving forward. So, and with that being said, I ordered a book. It's called Letters for Victory, and I thought it was a bigger book than this, but it's information. And basically, it's the history of the first based post office in Sutton Coldfield, Warwickshire during World War II. So come on, Dre. So what my grandma did with respect to resolving or helping with the mail backlog issue during World War II is the mail system they set up was, I think, kind of based off of this, or maybe there's some clues in here. So I got some books to go dig into. So that's what I'm going to do. So got that done. That's out the way. So just, keep that in mind. Be on the lookout for that. Not sure how, I'm going to probably start doing it soon, but I want to be able to at least, the goal I think would be to do like 10 questions a year, right? Just 10 specific questions. Take one question, just do some research, come back, show y'all what I find. And then if I can get to 10 to 15 episodes, I'm going to start talking about the rebrand. I'm going to come up with a new brand for that version of my podcast, and then have 2 podcasts that so that's that. I did the Buffalo Bills. We did talked about, and one other apology too. So not apology. I got to stop with all this damn being sorry. I got to cut that out. I'm human. I'm making mistakes. I'm figuring this out as I go along. So anyways, there was I was on a podcast last week, the Next Us 818 podcast. So make sure you guys plug them. I still got to go back and put the links in my other podcast for episode 88. So you guys can follow like the afro.com and Nexus 818. But we had a podcast last week, and I got I put the time in my schedule, but for some reason my Google Calendar didn't update me on the podcast. So when I was at the gym getting ready to work out, I'm working out and my phone's blowing up and people are like, yo, where are you at? Yo, the podcast getting ready to start. So I'm in the gym and I'm like trying to find a quiet place to contribute my experiences from the 6888 tour. And it took me a minute to gather myself. So if you go listen to the episode, I think it's episode 21 of Next to Us 818, when we're introducing ourselves, I'm kind of still shell shocked that, I forgot about the podcast, or my Google calendar didn't update me. And then I'm trying to make sure that no one else is making noise around me, so I can, have a clear channel to give my feedback, or to give my feedback based on the tour. And the first question they asked was, hey, what's your name? Like, state your name, where you're from, and how are you related to the descendant of who you went on a tour with? So I gave my name, said I'm in California, and I said I'm the granddaughter of Indiana Hunt Martin. I said, what did I say? And everyone looked at me. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to still get my head around that. So that to me was kind of a funny little blurb. But other than that, once I settled down and got my bearings straight, everything was cool. So that was that. Also, real quick, I'm going to plug it a few times. Let me plug it right now before we get into the meat of the podcast. So pull this up again. Go ahead and position. So, yeah, so tonight there is a charity event for my good brother, Mr. Andre Bailey, aka Mr. Amen. Real funny dude. This dude is a vet in the game. He gave me a lot of comedy notes and tips. He watches my set and he gives me good feedback. So he was in a car accident a few weeks ago, and I'm glad the brother alive. I'm glad he has all of his vitals, and he still has, like, he's still in one piece, but he doesn't have a car right now. So there's a benefit show or charity. There's a benefit show tonight at the Sunset Rooftop. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there just to support, because we got to get him back. We got to get him back on some wheels, man. Got to get him back on some wheels so he can keep spreading the funny. He was basically, he was hit. Like, he was just driving it and someone hit him and totaled his car, and I think the person that hit him didn't have insurance. So yeah, no, we got to get this brother back we got to get him back on the road. You know what I mean? See who's this that checked in. Hey, what's up, Sarah Green? What's going on? How you doing? Always good to hear from you. So, but yeah, tonight we got the fundraiser show for Mr. Amen himself, Andre Bailey. Come on out if you around. Come get these laughs, because the dude is funny. All right, so let's get into the meat of the show. Let's get into the meat of what we're gonna talk about. We got a couple of things we're gonna talk about. Real quick. We got a couple of things we're gonna talk about. So first thing we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about the vanishing of Carlee Russell. The vanishing of Carlee Russell. So I got a lot of questions, man. Like, I read a lot of Hardy Boy books, or I've read a lot of Hardy Boy books back in the day. I'm still working on my speed reading skills by reading these Hardy Boy books. I'm learning how to sleuth a case, and I got a lot of questions. A lot of people, are like bashing Carlee Russell, and the facts don't add up. Like, the shit is real funny style. First of all, I'm glad that she's found. Like, you don't want to have no one staying missing or remaining missing. But let's go ahead and just dive into some of the details, man. Like, things I got questions on, man. So, as y'all know, Carlee Russell, from what I've gathered, and correct me if I'm wrong with some of these facts, but she got off of work, and then she went to get some food, and then she went to Target to get some snacks. And then she was driving on the side of the road, or she was driving, where she says that she saw a toddler in diapers walking along the side of the highway. All right. So the question I have is they actually have, like, the actual highway footage cam of this car with the flashing lights on, and they've identified that car as being her car on the road. and she drove for 600 yards. And I think she was going at probably at least 10 to 15 miles an hour. So if she saw a baby and was keeping her eye on that baby or that toddler, that toddler must have been moving. Because for a toddler to move in a straight line for 600 yards and not get tired and move that fast, that's pretty impressive. Like this toddler was this toddler had a lot of stamina and speed. So that to me was very, very odd. And then when the cops got to the scene, because I think she called the cops, and then there was a scream or something. I think I'm not sure if the scream came with her calling her cousin, but I know there were 2 phone calls. But when the police got on the scene to investigate the car, they said they found her cell phone, her weave, but the snacks were gone. Like, so you gotta look at this, right? If someone came to snatch her up, they left everything behind but took the snacks. Like come on, man. Or if she faking, it's like she took all that off to go, but she remembered to bring them snacks. You know what I mean? So that to me is very very, very unusual, you know? So from what I understand, the cops or the police or the authorities haven't been able to find anything. Like they still have no idea where she was at for 48 hours. They have no idea. But they know what website she been searching before she went missing. So she looked up the movie Taken, looked up the Amber Alert. Like how much does it cost to have an Amber Alert or something like that? And then she looked up how to steal from a cash register and not get caught. So they can look up her history and find all this shit, but they don't know where she's been for 48 hours. Like they don't have no cameras nowhere that saw her just vanish. Very, very creepy, man. Very creepy. You know? And I think when she showed up to her parents' house, she was unclothed, I think she was unclothed. All she had on was socks, and she had $107 in her sock. You know, so where did she get the $107 from? You know, where are her clothes at now? Like, this is very, very trippy, man, because as y'all can see, I'm in the upside down. What if she went to the upside down? Let's talk about it. Like, what if the upside down is real? Right? I mean, think about it, right? When you watch Stranger Things, when you watch a movie and someone disappears and they said they saw a Demogorgon, everyone just starts laughing, right? They're like, oh man, this dude, like basically everyone that is around them says, oh man, you making this up, man. Stop lying, stop lying, stop lying, until they see the shit. So it would be like, I'm gonna laugh if like everything she was saying was true. Like that would be hilarious to me. If just she came back, well, not the part about her getting like, you know, getting taken advantage of, but if all the people existed, that would be like kind of crazy, you know? Like, where did these people come from? Like, where did the baby come from? Whose baby was it? You know? So I don't know. I got a lot of like, this is very scary, man. It's real trippy. Like, what if this happens again and like to somebody else and they say like a similar thing? You know what I'm saying? Like the upside down could be real. But with all that being said, I'm looking at the Google's. I'm real skeptical now, man. Like they can really track your Google history. They can track Google history, man. Like, I mean, we knew they could, but now they're showing you that they could. I'm like, man, so even if you clear out your cookies and clear out your cache, I think they still got that on record, man. Like I got my BS phone that I use for, you know, you don't need to worry about what it's for, but all I got is Wi-Fi on it. And you know, but I be Googling shit, man. I be Googling, man. You know? So it's very, very scary. It's very scary how, you know what's funny, man? It's very scary how people or how the government, it's very scary how they can find what they want to find, or they can find, it's funny, I don't know. It's just funny to me how they can only find, they know exactly what websites you've been to, they can track all that shit. But the moment you get out your car, it's like, or the moment she got out of her car, they don't know where this chick been for 48 hours. They have no clue. Like they need to, like the government needs to really investigate this, because if someone can disappear like that, then you gotta look at things from a terrorist standpoint, right? Like if a terrorist could come in, do some shit, and then be gone for like 48, 49 hours, that's bad. Like they gotta like let the people know. They gotta let the American people know, you know, what happened and exactly where she was. You know, like not knowing is not an option. Like what if this was, I mean, I'm just kind of going off the ramp. That's why it's called Trippin with Theobold. But what if this was like a test to see to test the government's or the US's like capability of tracking people, you know? Like this could have been this all could have been a test. Could have been a proof of concept, right? For those of y'all that watch Jack Ryan, you know, the final episode dropped last night of Jack Ryan. Man, Jack Ryan, man, it was a good, I know I'm kind of going off on a dovetail, but Jack Ryan, I thought it was gonna be way more episodes than that, but they only gave us 8 episodes of Jack Ryan, and that's it, you know, and that's the final season. But like I said, this could have, like, what if this was a proof of concept? Like if you can exploit the police system and just disappear, they don't know where you at for 48. That's some scary shit, you know. And then on the flip side too, it's like you have a lot of black women that go missing. So the scary part of this is like a lot of black females go missing and they never been found, you know. And now it's like with this case, it kind of looks like it was a hoax, you know. Not kind of, it looks like it was a hoax. And with it looking like it being a hoax, AKA, you know, like the little boy or the boy who cried wolf, next time there's a black female that's missing, they're gonna be like, oh, it's probably a Carlee, it's probably a Carlee Russell, you know, and they can brush it off. So that's the scary part of all this, you know. So I really want them to really find out what happened, what really happened, what went down, to prove that it was some other like far off stuff. Like I hope to God that she's telling the truth, man. Because if she's not telling the truth, bro, if she just made all this up, you know, that's gonna look bad for black people moving forward, you know, and I mean, but especially black women. So I hope that she's telling the truth and then they get to the bottom of it. The other thing too is I'm not a doctor, you know, I'm not gonna try to diagnose nobody. Like I don't do that. I think that's very inhumane. But to me, it's like, if they went on this case, they should be able to, I hope it's like, I don't know. That's why I'm asking this out there. But for HIPAA laws, or with HIPAA laws, you can't, like, the doctors can't release your medical information without like your consent unless it's an investigation. So hopefully, you know, it comes out that, you know, maybe I'm not hoping that she's like mentally ill, but I'm hoping that, you know, everything makes sense to us in the end. Because right now, this is creepy, man. This is some scary shit. Like she could have went to the upside down. Like there could really be an upside down. Okay, cool. I mean, I'm just tripping over here. That's all. That's why the show is called Trippin with Theobold. Before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend. Do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. And yeah, so like, what are your thoughts? You know, what are your thoughts? Put them in the comment section. Let me know. Am I just talking out my ass? Like, you know, what are some of y'all theories? I know we all got tinfoil koofies on right now. So what are some of y'all thoughts? And it's like this, right? Like the upside down might be real. Like I might sound crazy, but I don't sound crazy as y'all talking about Jamie Foxx as a clone. Think about that. Because if Jamie Foxx was a clone, you would have to to me, from what I understand, you can't just rapidly produce a clone, right? Like I watch Star Wars and shit. I watch Attack of the Clones, and it takes a while to like grow a clone. You just can't clone someone instantaneously, right? Like if you look at the clone troopers, they accelerated their growth, but when they accelerated their growth, it took years. It didn't take no, I think it took months. No, it took years. The months, year. It took a while. So someone had to have a plan to even do this. So I don't know, man. What are y'all thoughts, man? Like put them in the comment section, let me know, and then we'll just go from there. What else we got? So I wasn't gonna talk on this, but I've seen so many TikToks and memes and videos and heard so many people say things in conversation. We've had convos. I'm like, let me go ahead and just address it. All right. So we got to address this KeKe Palmer situation. Right? KeKe Palmer. Yeah, we're going to talk about her. Hey, Andre, I think you're way off base. Shirley Hemphill. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm way off base. Thank you so much for your comments. Okay. Shirley Hemphill. Appreciate you. I'm way off base. All right, cool. So here we go. KeKe Palmer. Let's go ahead and get in on this situation right now. So, as y'all may know, or as y'all may have heard, there was a situation a few weeks ago with KeKe Palmer and Usher concert, and KeKe Palmer just had a kid, and she went to this Usher concert, had on a revealing dress from the back, and was all up on Usher, and baby dad was at home, spazzing out probably because he saw what was going on social media, got in his feelings, and he put out a tweet talking about how he didn't like what he saw, and was trying to basically tell her, basically he was just expressing how he felt about the situation, about him trying to raise a family and stuff. So yeah, so here are my thoughts on that. So let me see, I got some more comments. Ain't nobody watching. Okay. Ain't nobody watching. What do you mean by that? Oh, I think you a bot. Okay, if you're saying ain't nobody watching this pod, okay, oh well. Well, you got talking complete sentences. I think you're way off base. Ain't nobody watching. Okay. Yeah, you gotta be more explicit. You gotta be more explicit in your commentary. Like if you're gonna chat. But you up here writing little tweets. Don't tweet. Say something. But I don't know. So I don't know what the context of ain't nobody watching is in reference to. So just please be more specific. Hey, what's up, babe? Okay, cool. I'm getting lost in this chat. This is like getting weird. So I'm gonna just stay on topic. And I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, because that's what I do. And yeah. So okay, so back to the KeKe Palmer situation, right? So here we go. So hey babe, appreciate you. I'm watching. Yep, AT. Okay, cool. Appreciate you. Okay, so here we go. So the KeKe Palmer situation. Okay, so let me go back and recant right quick. He was out wearing, so basically she wore a very revealing outfit. From the back, the cheeks were looking like they were out, or they were under a net, and you can see the cheeks. She went to an Usher concert. Her and Usher, I think, were friends or something like that for a while, or she's an Usher fan. He's all up on Usher, and Usher was, serenading her the song. And the baby dad was at home watching the baby, got wind of what was on social media, saw it, put out his blurb his basically his disgust for what he saw, and social media went into uproar, got attacked by a lot of people, and ended up canceling or getting off social media. So here's what I'll say about this, right? Let me go ahead and just start off top, right? So I don't know all the details of the situation. All I'm going to do is basically talk in hypotheticals. That's all I can do, right? I don't know them personally. I don't know the whole get down. So that's all I'm going to do. So I think a big problem in society in general is I think that it's twofold, right? I think that men aren't putting the younger men on game, and the older women aren't putting the younger women on game, right? And when I say on game, I don't mean to bash anybody or to take advantage of people. It's just at the end of the day, it's like if you want to get certain things, you have to. If you want to get certain results, you can't do certain things, right? It's pretty simple, right? Um, but here's my thing, right? So from the men's side, what the older men don't teach the younger men is they don't teach them how to. They don't teach them how to peep if they've been pre-selected, right? Like I can attest to this, right? Back when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? In my single days, back when I was younger, I used to see dudes just go up to any chick and get whoever and get chicks, right? But I think a lot of dudes just think that it's about the mouthpiece game and they can just go and talk to a chick or whatever, and they're the one that is making it happen. But really, it's the female that already chose them, right? So where am I going with this? Basically, where I'm going with this is based upon what I'm gathering or what I'm seeing. Like I find it hard to believe if KeKe Palmer ever really chose him, right? Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, she chose to have a seed with him, but did she choose him, right? Because when you look at that Usher video, it's looking like she's choosing Usher, right? So when a chick chooses you, she's choosing you. You know what I mean? So I forgot. I'm bad. I should know the guy's name, but I don't know the guy's name. But let's play hypotheticals, right? If he met KeKe Palmer and she was already wearing something like that, and he went after her, got her, you know, or she chose him temporarily at that time and got him, and that's how she rolls, and that's how she rolled from the beginning, then he really can't complain about what she's doing now, because an older dude that can put a younger dude on game would have said, look, if a chick is wearing this, you shouldn't be trying to think long term with her, because she's thinking like right now, she's still in the young minded state. But on the flip side, if she didn't wear all that and he didn't meet her like that, and all of a sudden she going to an Usher concert and she's wearing what she wore, that's a problem. You know, that's like, you know, to me, how would I have handled that situation? It's gonna be harsh, but hey, this is how I believe I would have handled the situation. Right? We can all say what we would have done in certain situations, but you really don't know until the situation happens, right? But if I were in that situation, like the way I would have handled it was, first off, assuming that I didn't meet her like that, me personally, I would be done. I'd be done. And I know y'all might think that's petty or whatever it is, but nah, it's like, to me, it's like that's a huge like a huge disrespect, you know? Yeah, I would be done. Like, and the way I would go about it is, number one, I wouldn't really go on. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm giving you hypotheticals of how I think I would handle it, but I wouldn't I don't think I would go on social media and put on this big rant, because, you know, that to me is I don't know. That to me is female energy, right? Like getting on social media and trying, like what, like if you get on social media and you don't like something that you see, or if you don't like something that your spouse is doing, and you just type, like what are you trying to accomplish? Right? Like what are you trying to really accomplish? Right? So me, I'm an engineer, right? I see a problem, I try to solve the root cause of that shit, and I execute, right? That's how I'm wired. So me, I would just basically be, in my mind, I would be done. She came back, I'd have a serious sit down. I'd be like, hey, you know, I know we have a kid together, yada yada yada. I'm done. What? And I would ask her like, I would be a gentleman about it. I would be professional about it. I would be like, look, I have a daughter, or I have a seed, and I would be like, look, how do you want me to be, or what capacity do you see me being in our kid's life? Because that's still my kid at the end of the day. And I would give her the opportunity to kind of, simmer down, because it'll probably be a big argument, but I'll be like, yeah, nah, I'm done. Okay, cool, we're done, but we still have a kid. How are we going to move forward with the kid? Like what part do you want me to play in this kid's life? Right? So if we can get split custody, cool, I would do that. If she was like, I don't want you around the daughter, whatever, okay, that would hurt, that would suck, but I would make sure I get it all in writing. And then like if she elected to have me say, look, I don't want you to be in the kid's life or whatever, I want you to be gone, ghost, I would start a journal, and I would just basically write a letter to my kid like every day, and it wouldn't really be me explaining or trying to place blame. I would just kind of explain the situation the best way I knew how. And when the kid turned 18, I would give them this hard drive or this journal that I kept to them, and to show them that I was writing to them every day, and that I cared about them, and that I wanted to be in their life, but the situation didn't allow for that. And what I would do is, and the reason I'm doing that is because in life, what a lot of people don't realize is that, there are three sides to the truth, right? There's side A, side B, and the truth, right? So side A would be the side of the spouse, side B would be my side, and then the truth would be whatever conclusion that the kid came to based upon those things, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to give, biggest thing I'm an advocate for is how should I put it? Is not altering someone's reality, right? Like I want people to see the truth as it is, right? That's what I'm about. Anyways, I know that's very, very harsh, but I just know that moving forward in that situation, it'll be very toxic, because what KeKe displayed in that situation was that she has no respect for her man, right? And some dudes might be cool with that, right? Like if you're a dude and you cool with that, cool. Me personally, I wouldn't be cool with that. So those are my thoughts on it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Chime in the comments. Let me know what you think. I know I'm probably going to get backlash for this, but I've seen a lot of TikTok videos of just pure hatred towards men that say anything against KeKe Palmer, right? And she's probably a nice chick. You know what I'm saying? She's probably still trying to figure out life, but that's not, in my opinion, that's not somebody that you want to like move forward with long term, in my opinion. Here we go. See, I'm watching Yep AT. I think there is more going on, but I can understand from a man's point of view. But rumors have it they ain't really together. Okay, wow, okay, that might be it. Also note he posted shortly before a video of her twerk. Exactly, right? So my thing is like if he was complicit in the thoughtness, right? Like if he was complicit in the thoughtness or of her doing that, then I mean that's on him. You know what I mean? But I think this is what I see, and this is what I've seen in general, right? Just so I gave the perspective from the man's point of view, I think I gave that. But on the female side, I think that the older women need to teach the younger women. I feel like the older women are competing with the younger women as opposing to helping them and coaching them along the way. That's why you see Instagram and all these OnlyFans and TikTok stuff going on, right? Because you don't have the older women really coaching and putting the younger women on game. So what I see is this, right? This is just me giving my 2 cents. My 2 cents might not be worth nothing, but I'm gonna give it. My 2 cents basically is I get that women want to use attraction to get a man, right? But it's like the problem I see with women, not problem. I don't like to say problem. That's a bad word. Not problem. The issue with the situation surrounding women that I see is they don't have any end game, right? Like they want to get sexy and they want to go attract men, but then when they attract the man that they want, right? Or when they attract the man that they think they want, what ends up happening is um they still want to be sexy for everybody as opposed to the dude. And I think and me speaking on behalf of men, it's like we want the chick that chose us to be sexy for us, right? If we deserve it, right? Like a lot of dudes might not deserve it, but that to me is like, like there's no end game, right? It's like they just like I feel like women just want to keep being sexy, keep being sexy, keep being sexy, keep being sexy. And then they get the guy, and then okay, they get married, have a kid or whatever. And then it's like just the next thing, the next high, right? Like you see the same issue with Aisha Curry, right? Like she won. Aisha Curry has hit the jackpot. And it's sad because she's acting like she's losing, but she's really winning, right? So I don't know. I'm probably stepping all over the place. People probably don't agree with what I'm saying, but I'm just telling you kind of like how I see things, like there has to be like some sort of end game. Like the one thing I don't see older women teaching younger women, or I don't even see it on YouTube or anything like that, is I don't see older women coaching the younger women on how to select a dude to submit to. Right? Like women, especially feminists, when they hear the word submit, they think of it as like a negative connotation, or they think of it as like a negative word to submit. But nah, it's really a powerful word, right? Because you have to vet someone to determine if they're even worth submitting to, right? So I think what happens a lot of times is women just go and they say, well, the world told me or society told me if I want to be happy, I got to submit. And then they submit to just some random dude. And when they submit to some random dude and get burned, then all men are shit, And it's like, nah, all men ain't shit. It's just, no one taught you how to properly select and vet a dude to see if he's even worthy of submitting to, I feel like I'm getting too preachy, So I'm gonna go ahead and land my plane here because I don't want to, ruffle any more feathers. I'm just trying to put some thoughts out there to try to help society, come together as one and get back on track. Because right now we all over the place, man. We all over the place right now, and right now, we're looking at I'm looking at what's going on with AI and the actor strike and the writer strike, and what no one's really talking about, right? I see the different pieces, but what no one's really talking about is AI right now I wouldn't say it's a proof of concept, but I would say AI right now is in a prototype mode. But in order for AI to do what AI needs to do, the way AI wants to do it, is there needs to be more chips. There needs to be more semiconductors, right? So if you look at what's going on in China and in Taiwan, they're the ones that control the chips. Like they make all the chips over there, all the manufacturing chips, right? If you look at cars that have like certain smarts in them, there's a back order of cars or a backlog of vehicles due to the chip shortage. So right now, it's like everything is basically hinging on what happens in Taiwan. Because if you look at what's going on with history and in Taiwan, it's kind of similar. I mean, I'm probably splitting hairs here. There's probably more differences in that. But from a high level standpoint, China and Russia got a lot in common, right? They have a piece of land that says they're not part of them that they want to take back, right? Like with Russia, like Ukraine used to be part of Russia. Russia's like, look, man, we want our land back. We want Ukraine back. And China is saying, look, man, we want Taiwan back. But Taiwan isn't like, they haven't, like, that's the name of the country, but they're not recognized as an independent sovereign nation. Like, I mean, they play that, like the US kind of tried to play that game with China, but China let them know, hey, nah, this is what it is. So anyways, we got the situation in Taiwan with the chips. They got a big plant out there where they're making all these chips. And if they want to corner the market, they can be like, you know what, we're only going to send chips to everywhere but the US. And this iPhone, this computer I'm talking to you on, all of it it's all based on them chips. So there's a lot of, we're in a very tender time right now, man. It's a very tender time because this stuff could hinge either way. I think even the US even said something crazy like, yo, we can go over there and just go bomb their plant and then we're going to build our own plant. And that's going to be the start of World War III. Like, we can't, like, that would be a dumb move. Or, you know, China's saying, hey, look, when we invade Taiwan, don't come and interfere, because if you interfere, then we're going to cut off your chip shortage, or we're going to cut off your chips. So there's a lot. So this, when you look at what's going on, it's all revolving around the chips, right? So, I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I should probably do a pod on that. I got to do more research on that. I got more questions. But when you look at the writer strike and what's going on, it's kind of like with the CEOs trying to go to AI so soon and trying to just cut everybody out. That's basically what they're trying to do. They're trying to cut more people out because they want to go the AI route. But how are they going to sustain it if there ain't no chips? Right? So I don't think they really thought that through, to be honest with you. I really don't think they thought that through. Or maybe they're key players in this whole chip game, and maybe they might be the linchpin that, you know, sets off World War III or not, you know? So, anywho, I feel like I'm rambling right now. But anywho, what else we got? Before I go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. Real quick, also, I've been kind of on a, ever since I got back from Europe and tracing my grandma's footsteps during World War II, I've been obsessed with D-Day. Like, I don't know why I'm obsessed with D-Day, but I'm just obsessed with it. You know, it's like every other YouTube video I'm watching, it's like I'm watching like a soldier's recount of charging the beach on Normandy. And you see so many like heroic stories, man. Like, just, I couldn't even imagine being on one of them Higgins boats, you know. And I even looked up and researched the Higgins boat stuff. You know, like there's a lot of just there was just a lot of details where I'm like, wow, like that's war, right? So when you actually hear what war is and all that stuff, it's like, man, wow, it's a whole nother thing, man. Like, I can't even really explain it, you know. It's I can't put it into words, you know. So, but nah, like I said, I'm all over the place right now. But like I said, moving forward, what's coming up, I'm going to basically ask a question, or I'm gonna pose a question about the unit that my grandma served in, and then I'm gonna basically pose it on a podcast. And then the following podcast, I'm gonna go do all the research, and I'm gonna come back the next podcast and then explain all that information, you know, or explain what I found. So I feel like, you know, I feel like social media can be used for entertainment, but also it's good for learning, right? So I think this is a great way to ask questions, say what you found, and then if people kind of get the conversation started, they might have more information that they know that they've been waiting for people to ask, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to use this as like a Kickstarter to start a bigger conversation, you know? And then if all goes well, if I get 10 to 15 episodes of really specific 6 888 questions, and if I answer all those, I'll probably start to look to brand that part of my podcast, you know, and then have that be a separate podcast, and then maybe once every 6 weeks, maybe once every 8 weeks, you know, instead of Tripping with Theobold, you'll see the 688 edition or whatever it's going to be called. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but we'll see. Then what else we got coming up? So not tonight, but tomorrow night, I'm going to be at the Amazing Comedy Theater in Huntington Beach, working out some bits. I'm working out these engineering corporate America bits. You know, I went to an open mic on Monday, worked on some material there. It has some legs. I'm going to keep working that material to see, you know, where it ends up at. I want to get to the point to where I'm not thinking so much about it, but I'm just expressing it. You know, once I do that, I think I'll be okay. Also, I got some other stuff bubbling, so I'll let you know when those things kind of come through. But you know, right now things are kind of in the pre-booking process, so to speak, quote unquote. Other than that, you know, thank y'all for tuning in. I want to give a special shout out to the people that tuned in. Shout out to Sarah Green for checking me out. Shout out to you, Shirley Hemphill. Appreciate you for checking me out. I'm not sure what your comment was about ain't nobody watching, but I mean, if that was a slight at me, obviously you were watching. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you. And then my baby, Miss Terry Tashi, appreciate you for checking in all the way from the East Coast. I know it's late over there, so I thank you for checking in on me, on little old me. And with all that being said, real quick, AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so follow me. And without further ado, or with that being said, I'm out of here, folks. Peace. Yep. Tripping with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Tripping. Yep. Tripping. Tripping. Tripping with Theobold.
Tripping with Theobold.